Welcome back, Brain Builders. Ready for another dose to grow smarter?
Yeah.
Today we're going deep on Toyota.
All right.
Now you might think, Toyota, the cars, the reliability, maybe even a little bit about their production system.
Right.
But trust me, there's so much more to this.
Oh, yeah.
A lot more than meets the eye. If you want to go even deeper, we've got all our sources linked down in the show description.
I was just going to say that. Make sure to check those out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what's so fascinating about Toyota is it's not just a story about cars. It's a story about resilience, adaptability, and a philosophy that's taken them from like a small village in Japan to the top of the global auto industry.
Yeah, and it's incredible.
It is.
I mean, we were looking at this, and it's just...
I know.
It's really a story that kind of almost spans... Well, it does span an entire century.
It does, and it's still going.
Yeah, so let's rewind all the way back to the mid-19th century.
Yeah, okay.
To a little village in Japan.
Right.
Where a guy named Sakichi Toyoda
Sakichi
is hard at work. Now, not on cars,
No.
but on looms.
Looms.
That's right. Looms. Those things that weave fabric.
Yeah, the things that make cloth.
I was like, wait, what? Looms?
Yeah, exactly. And this is where we see the seeds of what will become.
Okay.
Like Toyota's philosophy today.
Okay.
Sakichi wasn't just building looms.
Right.
He was obsessed with improving them.
Uh-huh.
We're talking like 30 years
Wow.
of relentless dedication to making these things better.
30 years now, that's dedication.
I know.
I can barely keep a houseplant alive for 30 days.
Right.
But seriously, what kind of improvements are we talking about here?
So in 1924, Sakichi unveils something truly revolutionary, the world's first automatic loom.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And not only was this loom automated, but it had a built-in mechanism that would stop the loom if there was a problem with the weaving.
So the loom could detect errors and stop itself.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
That's the key.
I mean, that's amazing back then.
Absolutely. That principle is called Jidoka, which essentially means automation with a human touch.
Like that.
Right. And this idea of building quality into the process, of empowering machines to, detect and prevent errors, would become a cornerstone of the Toyota production system.
Decades later.
Decades later.
Wild.
But what's even more remarkable is what Sakichi does with the patent
for
this incredible invention.
Right.
He sells it for a huge sum of money.
Okay.
100,000 pounds to be exact.
Wow.
And gives it all to his son, Kichiro,
Wow.
to pursue his own dream.
That's some serious fatherly support.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. So what was Kichiro's big dream? What was he going to do with all this money?
So Kichiro's ambition was even bolder than his father's. He wanted to build cars in Japan with no foreign parts. Now remember, this is the 1930s.
Right.
Japan's car industry is practically non-existent.
Like the Wild West of cars over there.
Exactly. Established companies like Mitsubishi, they thought he was nuts.
Really?
Totally nuts.
Completely out of his mind. So it sounds like Kichiro inherited his father's drive and determination.
Oh, absolutely.
To achieve the impossible.
Yeah.
But did he have the skills and the knowledge to actually pull this off? I mean, building cars is a lot more complex than building looms.
Well, Kichiro did have formal training as an engineer, but he also learned by doing, just like his dad.
Okay.
He spent years traveling, studying, experimenting, constantly tinkering and refining his designs. He even went to the U.S.
Oh, really?
to learn from the masters of mass production at Ford.
Oh, wow. So this is all happening in the 20s, the 30s?
He was the 30s,
yeah. 30s, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to the birth of Toyota Motors in 1936.
Yes.
With their first car, the Toyota AA, rolling off the production line.
It's incredible.
And it's an incredible achievement.
It is.
Especially when you think about all the challenges they faced in those early years. What we all know, things were about to get a lot more difficult for Japan.
Yeah.
And for Toyota.
For everyone, right? Just 3 years after that first car, World War II breaks out. Yeah. And everything changes. Yeah. Toyota is forced to shift production to military vehicles.
Wow.
And the war just devastates Japan's economy and morale.
Yeah.
By 1949, the company's on the brink of collapse, facing financial ruin.
Really?
And over 3,000 workers that they can barely afford to pay.
It's a story of resilience.
Sad.
And adaptation, but also tragedy.
Yes, definitely.
Sadly, Kichiro doesn't make it through this period.
Right.
He resigns from the company in 1948 and passes away just a few years later.
Yeah.
But the company, against all odds, finds a lifeline.
Yeah.
and you won't believe where it comes from.
Where does it come from?
I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah.
The Korean War.
Oh, wow.
Erupts in 1950.
Okay.
And the U.S.,
yeah,
needing military vehicles, turns to Japan for help.
Right.
And guess who lands a massive $100 million contract to build trucks?
Toyota.
It was an unexpected turn of events that literally saved them from collapse.
Wow. Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
Right. But it's more than just luck, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Toyota had to have something special to offer for the U.S. to choose them.
Absolutely. Toyota, even in its early days, had already established a reputation for quality and efficiency. Remember Jidoka?
That principle of building quality into the process,
right?
That was ingrained in their DNA from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Thanks to Sakichi.
Wow. So they were back from the brink.
Yeah.
But I imagine they knew they couldn't just rely on military contracts forever.
Right.
They needed a long-term strategy for success in the global automotive market.
Absolutely.
What happened next?
Oh, that's a good story.
All right, we'll have to wait till after the break to find out.
Stay tuned. So they knew they needed a proactive plan.
Yeah.
A way to build for the future.
Right.
And this is where Akio Toyoda, another member of the family,
interesting,
steps in.
Okay.
He takes the helm
and
decides that to compete on the global stage, Toyota needs to learn from the best.
So where do they go? Detroit.
Yeah.
To learn from the American giants who basically invented mass production.
That's exactly what they do.
Wow.
In the 1950s.
Okay.
Akio sends a delegation
to Ford's factories in the U.S.
Okay.
Now you'd think they'd come back.
Yeah.
Completely blown away by Ford's system.
Right, because Ford was revolutionary at the time.
Huge. It was like the gold standard.
Yeah.
But instead, they return with a surprising takeaway.
Okay, now I'm really curious.
Yeah.
What could they possibly find wrong with the Ford system?
Oh.
It was revolutionary for its time.
It was, but while impressed by the sheer scale and efficiency of Ford's operation, they also saw a fundamental flaw.
Okay, what's the flaw?
Ford's focus on maximizing output led to overproduction, creating waste,
oh, I see,
and potentially compromising quality.
Okay.
They realized that just simply copying Ford wouldn't work for them.
Interesting.
They needed a system that was more flexible, more responsive to actual demand, and more focused on eliminating waste.
So how do they find this magic system? Do they just invent it themselves?
It wasn't entirely their invention.
Okay.
The inspiration came from a rather unexpected source.
Okay.
A supermarket.
A supermarket? You're kidding me, right?
No.
What could Toyota possibly learn from a supermarket?
Akio Toyoda himself tells the story.
Okay.
He was walking through a supermarket in the U.S.
Okay.
And he noticed how they managed their inventory.
Right.
Items were only restocked when they were sold.
I see.
Ensuring that they always had the right amount of product on hand.
Right.
Without excess stock just sitting around.
Right, taking up space.
Exactly.
Potentially going to waste.
Yeah. Yeah.
So simple.
I know.
But so brilliant.
I know. Light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you can almost see the light bulb going off over AG's head.
Yeah.
In that supermarket aisle.
Exactly.
This just-in-time or JIT inventory system became the foundation for what would become the legendary Toyota production system.
TPS.
Or TPS. Okay, so we got this brilliant idea inspired by a supermarket.
Yeah.
But how do they actually translate that into a system for building cars?
Right.
That seems like a pretty big leap.
It is.
Yeah.
And this is where Taiichi Ono,
okay,
a brilliant engineer at Toyota, comes in.
Okay.
He's tasked with developing this new production system.
All right.
So Ono takes everything we've talked about, Kaizen, Jidoka, and JIT, and combines it with a deeply human-centric approach.
Human-centric.
Yeah.
So it's not just about robots and automation.
Not at all.
Okay.
In fact, one of the core principles of TPS is respecting and empowering workers.
I like that.
Right. They aren't just cogs in a machine.
Right.
They're problem solvers.
I like that.
Encouraged to identify and fix issues.
Right.
Constantly looking for ways to make the process better.
So it's continuous improvement
Yeah.
at every level
Absolutely.
of the organization.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how all these principles connect.
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful, intricate web of ideas all working together to create this system that's efficient, flexible, and constantly evolving.
Exactly.
I mean, it's really incredible when you think about it.
It is, it is.
That they brought all these pieces together from, you know, different places, different sources of inspiration.
And this is where they get a little outside help
Okay.
They bring in Edwards Deming.
Okay, I've heard that name.
Yeah, an American quality guru who championed this idea of employee empowerment and continuous improvement.
Okay, so this guy Deming's coming in, and he's kind of like reinforcing what they're already doing.
He is, and he introduces them to this concept of the Deming cycle.
Okay.
Which is...
The Deming cycle? What is that?
Plan... Okay. So it's
it's
a cyclical process for problem solving.
Oh, interesting.
And driving continuous improvement.
Okay, so they're taking ideas from looms, supermarkets, and American quality experts.
Yeah.
It's truly a melting pot of inspiration.
I know.
But even with all these brilliant minds working together, I imagine it wasn't all smooth sailing.
You're right.
Did they face any internal resistance to these new ideas?
Change is never easy,
right?
Especially in a large organization.
Yeah.
But what's remarkable about Toyota is they fostered a culture of what they called constructive tension.
Constructive tension?
Yeah.
That sounds a little intense.
It is, but in a good way.
Okay.
It means that even junior employees were encouraged to challenge decisions.
Interesting.
Even those made by their superiors.
Wow.
If they believed they had a better idea.
That's amazing.
They valued open communication and diverse perspectives, believing that the best ideas could come from anywhere.
That's such a powerful concept.
I know, right?
But did it actually work in practice?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any examples of this constructive tension leading to positive change?
Absolutely. One great example involves a manager named Yukitoshi Funo.
Okay.
He was in charge of expanding Toyota's dealerships in the U.S. In the late 90s.
Okay.
And his superiors wanted to grow rapidly.
Okay.
But Funo saw that overexpanding would lead to problems.
I see. So what did he do? Did he just follow orders and hope for the best?
No, he did something very courageous.
Yeah.
He defied his superiors.
Wow. Really?
He knew rapid expansion wasn't the right move.
Okay.
So he held back.
Interesting.
Carefully planning and waiting
wow.
for the right opportunities.
So he kind of like pumped the brakes a little bit.
Exactly.
Right.
He practiced what's known in Japanese culture as nemawashi.
Nemawashi!
Which means laying the groundwork.
Oh, interesting.
Building consensus and waiting for the right moment to act.
And guess what? He was proven right.
He was.
His patience
and
strategic thinking saved Toyota from potentially a disastrous overreach.
Exactly. It's a great example of how they valued independent thinking and long-term strategy over short-term gains.
That's a good lesson for everybody.
It is.
And it really kind of speaks to that long-term thinking that seems to be pervasive throughout the Toyota organization. And this brings us to a crucial case study in how all these principles come together.
All right.
The Toyota Corolla.
Oh.
You know, the best-selling car of all time.
The Corolla.
Oh, yeah, the Corolla.
Yeah.
The car that's practically synonymous with reliability and affordability.
Right.
But I had no idea it was the best-selling car of all time.
I know, right?
That's amazing.
It is. But it wasn't an instant success.
No.
Was it?
No.
In fact, its predecessor,
the
Toyota Publica.
The Publica.
Was a bit of a flop.
Yeah.
It was.
Intended to be a car for the masses.
Okay.
But it was too basic.
Right.
And failed to meet public expectations.
So how did they turn things around? How did the Corolla go from flop to phenomenon?
They brought in another engineering superstar.
Okay.
Tatsuo Hasegawa.
Hasegawa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he applied all of Toyota's principles to the design and production of this new car.
So more Kaizen.
Yes.
More Jidoka.
Yeah.
More JIT.
All of that plus something else.
Oh, okay. What's the something else?
Hasegawa had a philosophy he called 80 points or more.
80 points or more?
He didn't strive for perfection right out of the gate.
Oh?
He aimed for a solid foundation that could be iterated upon.
Oh, I see.
Constantly improved over time.
So it's that continuous improvement again.
Yeah.
They weren't afraid to start with something good.
Right.
And then make it great.
Yeah.
Through constant refinement.
Absolutely.
And clearly it worked.
It did. The Corolla became a global sensation.
Wow.
Selling over 50 million units.
Yes.
And proving the power of incremental progress over flashy one-time innovations.
That's an important lesson. Yeah, I think, especially nowadays.
It is.
Everybody wants the next big thing.
Right.
But sometimes it's just about getting a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Each time.
Yeah.
And the Corolla's a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
But even with this incredible success, I imagine Toyota faced its share of challenges over the years.
Right. Well,
I mean, no company can just cruise along
Yeah.
without hitting a few bumps in the road.
for sure.
What were some of the major obstacles?
Well, one of the biggest shocks to the global auto industry came in 1973.
Okay.
With the oil crisis.
Right.
Fuel prices skyrocketed.
Yeah. And suddenly, fuel efficiency became the most important factor for car buyers.
Yeah, and a lot of these, especially the American automakers, they had built their empires on these
gas guzzlers.
Yeah, these big,
huge land yachts.
Yeah, and so when the oil crisis hit, I imagine they were really scrambling.
Oh, absolutely.
To kind of retool and figure out what they were going to do.
Yeah.
But Toyota, on the other hand, they seem to be uniquely positioned to thrive in this new environment.
Yeah.
Why is that? Was it just dumb luck?
Not at all.
Okay.
Remember, Toyota had been focusing on building smaller, more fuel-efficient cars.
Right, yeah.
From the very beginning.
Yeah.
And their JIT system meant they weren't stuck with huge inventories of gas guzzlers.
Yeah, that nobody wanted to buy.
Exactly. They were agile.
Yeah.
Adaptable.
Right.
Able to respond quickly to the changing demands of the market.
It's like all those years of focusing on efficiency and eliminating waste suddenly paid off.
It died.
In a huge way.
Yeah.
They weren't just building cars. They were building a system that was inherently resilient and adaptable to change.
Exactly.
Wow. The oil crisis was really a pivotal moment for Toyota.
Yeah.
Solidified their global reputation for reliability and fuel efficiency. And it paved the way for them to enter the luxury market in 1989 with Lexus.
Wow.
Within just a few years, Lexus was outselling established luxury brands like BMW and Mercedes-Benz.
Wow.
In the U.S.
That's a huge accomplishment.
I know, right?
For a brand that was relatively new at the time?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
But it wasn't always smooth sailing, was it?
Right.
I mean, they faced some pretty serious challenges in the 21st century.
Yeah, they did.
Like the 2008 financial crisis and this massive recalls.
Right. And those are things that, really, I think, shook consumer confidence in Toyota for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd love to dig into that a little bit.
Yeah.
The 2008 financial crisis was a major blow.
Yeah.
It led to Toyota's first annual loss since the Korean War. That's incredible.
It is.
But even then, they stayed true to their principles.
They did.
They didn't lay off workers.
Oh.
Instead, they invested in them, provided training, and kept their focus on the long term.
On the long term. It's amazing.
It is.
It really is.
It's impressive how they weathered that storm.
Yeah.
But those recalls must have been really damaging to their reputation.
They were.
2009, they had to recall millions of vehicles due to unintended acceleration issues.
Yeah.
And then 2016, another massive recall. Because of faulty airbags.
Right.
These were serious problems that could have crippled a lesser company.
Absolutely.
So how do they recover from that?
Well, once again, they applied the Deming cycle.
Okay.
They acknowledged the problems, investigated the root causes, implemented solutions, and most importantly, learned from their mistakes.
Then came out stronger on the other side.
Exactly.
That's a good approach to have, I think, with any problem in life.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Acknowledge it, figure out what went wrong, fix it, learn from it.
And move on.
Don't dwell on it.
Yep.
But yeah, they really, it's almost like those crises reinforce their commitment to quality and continuous improvement.
I think so too.
It's really a testament to their philosophy that they were able to come through that.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, with the rise of electric vehicles, did Toyota miss the boat?
They seem to be hedging their bets with hybrid technology, while everyone else was going all in on electric.
That's a great question, and one that many analysts were asking.
Yeah.
But Toyota, as always, was thinking long term.
Okay.
They knew that a sudden shift to all electric wasn't feasible for everyone.
Right.
The infrastructure wasn't there yet. The cost was prohibitive for many.
Yeah.
And there was still range anxiety to contend with.
Right.
So they kind of played the long game.
Okay.
Focusing on hybrids as a bridge to a fully electric future.
Oh, interesting.
And in the meantime, they continued to refine their hybrid technology, making it more efficient and affordable.
So like a stepping stone to get to that fully electric future.
Absolutely. It was a classic Toyota move, meeting the needs of the customer today while still keeping an eye on the future.
And it paid off.
It did. In May 2024, Toyota became the first Japanese company to report an annual operating profit of 5 trillion yen.
Wow. That's a lot of yen.
It is. Largely driven by the success of their hybrid vehicles.
That's incredible.
And they outsold Tesla.
Really?
Proving that their strategy of gradual evolution rather than radical revolution was the right one for them.
It's an incredible story.
It is.
Of resilience, adaptation, and an unwavering commitment to their core principles.
Yeah.
They took a simple idea, Kaizen, continuous improvement, and applied it to everything they did.
Everything.
From looms to cars to navigating global crises.
Absolutely. And what's truly remarkable is that they've achieved all of this while maintaining a deep respect for their employees and a constant focus on the customer.
That's great.
It's a lesson that any business in any industry can learn from.
What does this all mean for us? What can we as individuals, as businesses, as a society learn from Toyota's journey?
I think Toyota's story offers some really powerful takeaways. First, long-term thinking trumps short-term gains. They consistently make decisions that might not have been popular in the moment, but ultimately position them for success in the long run.
It's about playing the long game.
Yeah.
Not just chasing the next shiny object.
Exactly. Second, investing in your people and empowering them to be problem solvers is crucial for sustainable success.
Yeah.
Toyota understood that their employees were their greatest asset.
And finally, never underestimate the power of continuous improvement.
Yes.
Small incremental changes made consistently over time can lead to extraordinary results.
Absolutely.
Toyota's story is proof that you don't need to reinvent the wheel every time.
Right.
You just need to keep making it better one small step at a time.
One step at a time.
So what stands out to you about Toyota's journey? What lessons resonate most with you? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Toyota's history is a testament to the power of human ingenuity, determination, and the enduring power of a philosophy that values people, quality, and constant striving for a better way.
Yeah.
It's a story that gives us hope that even the most complex challenges can be overcome.
Right.
Not through grand pronouncements or sweeping changes, but through the collective effort of people working together, learning from their mistakes, and constantly striving for a better way.
It's a really inspiring story.
It is.
I mean, it's a story that reminds us that even in a world obsessed with disruption and overnight success, there's still immense value in slow, steady progress, in building a culture of excellence from the ground up, one small step at a time.
I love that.
The next time you see a Toyota on the road, remember, it's not just a car. It's a symbol of a philosophy.
It is.
A testament to the power of human ingenuity and the enduring belief that even the smallest improvements made consistently over time can change the world.
It's true.
And that's what makes this deep dive so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's not just about learning facts. It's about discovering principles, insights, and a way of thinking that we can apply to our own lives, our own work, our own pursuit of excellence.
Absolutely.
So wherever you are in your journey, whatever challenges you're facing, remember the lessons of Toyota. Embrace Kaizen. Strive for continuous improvement and never give up on your pursuit of a better way.
Well said.
This is Podcast Infinity signing off.